Hello, I'm back. So I'm currently in my hometown in Leeds because I've had a few days of having to rush back for various family bits. But I figured I was at the Leeds United match early tonight. I might as well make a video. Managed to get myself a spot in the press box, and I've got a couple of fun videos coming up very soon. But I've got to do the standard, got to do the post-match. So just in case you see me looking down, I've got my laptop on my lap, and I'm currently recording from my phone. Might look a little bit weird, but I promise I'm doing my best. So, first off, we won 3-1. That was very nice treat. So I'm going to dive into what happened, why I think it happened in terms of tactically, and what it means for Leeds going forwards. First up, as I mentioned, I was at the match. It means I was able to see a little bit more of what was on the pitch, a little bit more in terms of like pressing patterns and stuff. So I've got a few more banners than normal, but hopefully it's still all okay. First up, it was important to note that we were nearly at a very full-strength lineup, which is quite rare for us at Leeds United. We're very good at having lots of injured players all the time. Different today. Everyone was fit as far as I'm aware, at least off the top of my head. Jed Spence might find himself in the lineup going forwards, depending on how fit he is, but I think Archie Gray has still deserved to retain his spot there. The very first minute, absolute chaos. Had a goal disallowed. Swansea came back and scored themselves. As the starting stages of football matches go, that was absolutely chaotic. I, from my spot in the press box, was looking at the little TV that we have just to see if there was a replay, to see if it was offside, because I couldn't tell at first. And then I hear a cheer from the Swansea fans, so I had to see on the replays what exactly had happened. And Pascal Struijk sort of made a little bit of a mistake trying to head the ball back to Meslier. Didn't make it all the way. Meslier couldn't recover. Brilliant dink from the Swansea forward. Nothing more he could do about that. So, if you don't say anything, I won't. A minute in. We've had a goal disallowed. They've scored. Probably not the best. Until, of course, we come back into it. Peru scored a fantastic goal against his former side. It was a beautiful little through ball as well. If I can click right, there we go. That came from, I think, Crescencio Somerville, setting him up. And the finish was really delicate. It was sort of eased around the keeper rather than powering it at him and hoping that it doesn't miss. He made sure it was going to hit the corner. Keeper could have had a chance to save it, but he's tucked it so nicely in that corner of the net, nothing he can do. This is where it's important to note the guy that was sitting next to me, the guy that I'm fairly sure will be in the YouTube comments below this later on. His name was Jacob, who I only found out the name of in the very last minutes of the match. Not a Leeds fan, first time in the press box and sort of getting adapted to things. And a specific thing he said to me was, I don't want 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. And then 2 in the first 5. Really fun match, I think, from the very start. Things slowed down a little bit going forwards, but as far as Jacob's first time at Elland Road, I don't think it could have been much better. Something that I noted was a little bit of an issue as we went through was there was some fairly loose passing at the back from Ethan Ampadu and Pascal Struijk. They're players that are fairly consistent the vast majority of the time. And yet there were a couple of times that we let their side in by just simple, stupid mistakes, a pass going a yard astray, stuff like that. And it was something that we could have dealt with a little bit better. We kept having good efforts. Somerville had a fantastic shot from a running behind. I don't know what that means, but it's fine. Sorry, I'm absolutely scrambled from the various family bits and bobs, and the fact that I've not done this in a few days, and the fact that I took so many notes because I was at the game and I was like, I've got to do something because I'm not getting something written at the moment. But something I noticed tactical was that there was so many intelligent little underlapping runs from Archie Gray. There was one point in the first half where he laid the ball off to Dan James, waited for Dan James to draw defenders to him like he always does because people are going to drift towards Dan James to try and stop him doing his thing, and then just sprinted up the inside. James's through ball didn't make it to him. It was blocked off by, I think, a second defender that wasn't quite pressing him but was standing off a little bit. But the intelligence of Gray to think, I've given it to James, he's going to draw the players in, I will sprint in behind. And that also helped in the second half when he drifted over a really nice cross for Jayden Anthony that would have been the 4th goal if that header was on target. It's in the you probably should hit the target sort of territory for me, but That's fine enough. We were 3-1 up, not a big problem. Scored again, and it was Ruter doing his thing. That's the wrong one. My bad. I saw 1-2 and got confused. No, there was one point in the first half where Ruter did a very, very cheeky little Cruyff turn. Bounced a 1-2 off, I think it was Peru, and then pinged in across. Very unlucky for that not to go in as well. But partway through the half, I think we lost a little bit of pace and creativity. Where what we used to do was start really badly and build into games. What happened today was we started really strong, really powerful and imposing ourselves on the game. That descended a little bit as it went on. Lost a bit of control, lost a bit of momentum. We regathered it in the second half, no doubt, but it feels like the side itself eased off a little bit, and in sync with that, so did the crowd. And because the crowd isn't pushing the side on, the side doesn't push as hard, which means the crowd doesn't get behind it. And it's a vicious circle, but I think we ended up on the wrong side of it for a little bit. And tactically, again, something I spotted was that whilst we didn't have the ball, we were doing something at the top of the pitch that we hadn't done before that I'd noticed, and that was rotating responsibilities in the press. There'd be times where Ruter would drift out to the right and James on the inside. There'd be times where Kamara would push out from midfield and press, and Somerville would drop in. And I think all of that has to do with keeping players as fresh as you can, making sure that everyone is sharing the load of running, because if you just have Ruter and James pressing at all times, they're going to get tired, and you're going to need to not play them at some point, because December is a horrific month in the Championship. Being able to swap those out for players that are equally capable at running and causing issues, and I've noticed that I keep looking at a little tripod clip rather than the camera, so I'm going to try and pay more attention to that. Sorry about that. It means that the players stay fresher, more quality sides later on in the season, and we've got a better chance of going up. Then scored a lovely little goal, and for some reason that last L has not capitalised. And this was the lovely little goal that came from an assist over the top from Ethan Ampadu. And Jorginho Ruter's touch to bring it down is spectacular. The fact he's able to force his player off him and still sneak a shot away into the bottom corner, brilliant. Previous weeks, Ruter probably misses that. I think the most appreciable part of the goal, though, is Ethan Ampadu's stunning lofted ball over the top. There's so much space in behind, and you can see from the replay that Ampadu looks up, sees Ruter drop in a little bit so Ruter can start a run without being offside, sets himself for the through ball, and somehow works out exactly where Ruter's going to be, and it just works out. And it's fantastic, and having players of the quality that are able to do that in the Championship is a must, and it will keep us going towards promotion. The composure from Ruter was banging for me as well. I've accidentally right-clicked again. The composure from Ruter was fantastic, because we've seen times where he'd snatch at it and just about miss, but this time, perfect. No complaints from me. Then it was half-time, and it was incredibly cold, but the vibes were really, really good. I think I made this note just to point out how nice it is to be able to be in the ground. It's quite rare that I'm able to do that. If I am, it's because I've reached out to someone at the club, because it's good to be able to sort out a situation in which I'm able to both work and sort of watch the match at the same time. Being able to do that, very nice. If you'll have me back, be much appreciated. And then we got into the second half. In the second half, I think we started a lot more strongly than we did the first. I seemingly have forgotten how to click. But it was a very strong start. Ruter won a free kick on the 18-yard box, basically within a minute. It was so close to being able to be a penalty. Just unfortunate. I think it was Peru that took the shot in the end, right into someone's belly. Took a second shot, didn't quite work out, but it was a sign that we can do quite well. And this was very quickly followed by Somerville having a shot and it narrowly going over the bar. We put a lot of pressure on Swansea early in that second half, and it really helped. They were struggling to deal with our press for the most part, and we saw that quite a lot with Dan James stealing the ball time and time again. Somerville forcing an early pass that would get cut out by Ampadu or Kamara and immediately return to the front line. Keeping that tempo up right at the start of the second half was key to scoring that third goal, in my opinion. Something I've not noted yet that I think is quite important is the referee throughout did not help himself. Said guy that I was sat next to in the press box advertised himself to me as a Man United fan, but at the end of the game, I think I'd managed to convert him into like quite enjoying Leeds United. Multiple times was like, this referee's really not having a good one, is he? And he was doing like an audio commentary, and he would say like, Leeds getting another decision against them. So I'm glad to see that that wasn't just my biases at play, because it felt like everything was going against us in this match. But it's good to see that it's not me losing my mind. We're also a little bit slow when we're playing out at the moment, and I understand why. It's something that I think we picked up from Brighton last season. What they like to do is they will have the ball, sorry, bit of an itch, at the back of the pitch and pass it to a centre-back, and centre-back will just put their foot on the ball. Because if you see someone with their foot on the ball, you're going to press them, and that draws someone out of position, and that means someone isn't being marked, which means there's now a pass on, and then you can do the same again until you break them down. I think that's becoming our alternative to pure transitional play. It's becoming a possessional form of football in which you force players out of position not through transitioning, but through their pressing you, if that makes sense. I think I phrased that really badly, but I'm going to roll with it. Third goal, and it was very nice. Dan James goal from another Rutter through goal. Through ball. Rutter had another really good night, in my opinion. I've heard a couple of people say that he looked tired. Not to me. He looks like it was a cold Wednesday night in Leeds. He looks like however I would expect someone to play in those conditions. He's still got that mind in which he can find that through ball to Dan James, and it came from a spectacular Sam Byram challenge, absolutely crunching. It got around us. The challenge itself got cheered, and then it came to Rutter, who found the ball to Dan James in behind, and it was a nice finish. It was one of those where if you just hit it hard enough, and even if it hits the keeper, which it did, it'll probably go in because he won't be able to save it enough. Then we got to subs. Bamford and Gnonto came on, fully expected, with Jorginho, Rutter and Dan James coming off. This will just be little bits of rotation, making sure that everyone is fit as possible going throughout December. Having our first 11 is massive. And we've seen it. The quality will show even if we're not looking like we're playing that well. And that's what we saw today. The quality showed in the end. We got 3 goals. They only got 1 because they didn't have the quality. And Gnonto got immediately fouled. So off the bench, we have that quality that's able to spook teams. And Patrick Bamford came close twice within a minute. It's a good return, I think. Bamford might get a lot of stick, but as I mentioned to my commentator friend next to him, his positioning is incredible. His finishing might not be there, but his positioning is good enough to get him those chances when other people won't. Then we have more substitutions. Firpo and Anthony came on, which is, again, rotation substitutions just to make sure that everyone is fit and healthy. They came on for Byram and Somerville. Makes sense, to be honest. Somerville is one of the best players in the Championship. Byram has massively proven himself and is someone that, if he plays too much football, will probably get injured. So being able to take him off for Junior Firpo is big. This is a match where I hugely thought that we would see Jed Spence, but we didn't because of the final substitution. Liam Cooper came on, replacing Pascal Strauch, who a little bit earlier than that, I think when they were bringing Balassi on or something, Strauch, I was able to see, was just stretching out, making sure that he wasn't getting cramp or anything. I think he was at serious risk of injuring himself, so I'm happy to see Liam Cooper for 10 minutes and not Jed Spence if it means that we're able to keep Strauch fit. Very late chance to finish off. Jaden Anthony managed to get ahead on a impeccable ball from Archie Gray. That ball alone made me realise, oh yeah, you can play out wide, because I mean, I already know that you can, but putting it so delicately onto Jaden Anthony's head was very close to giving us a 4th goal. Got unlucky. It's the chance I mentioned earlier, and very nice in general. And then it was full time. And I don't really know what to sum up with, to be honest with you, because I've not got all my notes nice and arranged like I normally do. But in general, it was a match where it felt like we weren't at 100% and we were still able to win 3-1. Those are going to happen. It's fine. We have the quality to pull through in the end. It's better than what we did against Rotherham, where we still looked like we weren't at 100% but weren't able to get those goals. This time the attack was a little bit more sharp, we were getting more chances, we were able to put them away. And yeah, sorry, it's been a slightly longer one than normal because I took more notes than expected and have rumbled on a little bit because I don't have all my notes available, can't stay concise, etc. Hope you enjoyed. Comment what you thought. I thought it was a very interesting match from a tactical point of view and in terms of a performance perspective. Like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe. Even become a channel member if you fancy. I have some very fun videos coming up soon, including one from TSB Towers, the Square Ball Studio. So yeah, hope you stick around to watch that one too. And we'll see you later.